Hello everyone. I actually welcome you all to the very important section. So this particular functionality, or you can call the activity, is very important in the real life as well. When you will work as a DBA, or if you are already working as a DBA, this is very much required for day-to-day activities and for day-to-day backup operations. So this topic actually covers ARM and duplication, that too from the active database. You guys actually saw that we had to take the backup from the primary server, have to transfer it to the secondary server and then restore it there, right? But in this particular situation, what will happen is we will need to directly connect to the primary server and then run the arm and duplicate command from the active database itself. So what will happen is it will actually restore everything from primary server to secondary server and then recover it. Okay, there is a slight what you can call downward part to it, or if you can call it a negative part to it, as which is very slight, is it requires a lot of bandwidth because it needs to pull the data and fetch the data from the primary server itself, the secondary server. So it requires no latency. If there is latency, it will take time. Other than that, you would need a good amount of memory, that is RAM, and good hardware to actually work with this particular feature. Today in the modern world, as we know that the RAM as well as the solid state drives gives us capability to perform a very surprising kind of operations which we never had before. So it shouldn't be any problem for any companies to actually buy these hardwares and actually run these type of operations. Okay, so let's continue on. This is what we are going to cover. This is ARM and duplication from the active database, that too without backup because we don't need to take the backup. So these are the complete step. You see that there are not many steps, but this is the kind of bird's eye view of what we are going to perform. There are some granular steps you need to look at. There has to be a proper setup of primary as well as secondary server, and the communication needs to be there between both of them to actually perform the restore and recovery operations. Okay, currently if I show you my server, as you all might be knowing that this is my primary server where the database is running as well as software is there and database is running. Currently on this server the software is installed but the database is not available. That is why we will be using the ARM and active duplication to actually duplicate the database, fetch the database, pull the data and pull the files from the primary server and then recover it from here. Okay, so that is the current setup. Now what checks you need to perform? Both looks the same. There is slight issues, but slight difference is not the issue, sorry. So the differences being, let's first check the primary server. Okay, so what we need to check in the primary server is the DBS location. As all might be knowing that this DBS location contains password file, SP file and P file. Okay, we will validate that. Second is the network admin. This will contain the listener as well as TNS file. This is a very important part on active duplication because in active duplication dynamic listeners won't work. You will need to create static listeners, okay, on both server, and both listener need to communicate with each other. There has to be TNS file as well and entries for both databases. Okay, and as well as Aura tab entries must be there. It has Aura tab entries, but we will check on the secondary server if that has Aura tab or not. As I will remind you all that when you install the software, there will be a final final kind of piece where you need to run the root.sh script, right? At the last part of OUI, that is Oracle Universal Installer, that's when you run that script, and then what root credential does is actually creates this etc or a tab file without any entries. But what we will do, because currently the database is not available, right? So we will copy the Aura tab entries from here to here, okay, and just change the database name, because the software home is similar to what we have on the primary, and we will have to make an entry in the hosts file for both servers. So let's say this is a primary server. So primary server has to have entry for itself as well as this one, okay, same as this one. The secondary server hosts file has to have entries for itself as well as the primary, okay. So we will actually validate all these. Now let's check the process first. Everything is running fine, okay, according to the steps. Let's go to Oracle Home DBS. So we don't need to worry anything about it, just that we will validate the same thing on the secondary server. Let's validate it actually. You see that the difference being that there is no password file. We will be using sys credential, as you all might be knowing that using the sys credentials from the remote server will require a password file, otherwise it won't let you log in. Locally, when you SSH to the box itself, right, and you use the OS credentials, then you don't need anything to actually log in using the sys credential. What you will do is, because you are Oracle user already, right, and you are O install group and you own the binaries, you just say SQL plus /sh dbs. So slash means you are using the operating system credential, that is secondary group, the O install, right, because you are the owner, and that's how you become sys. But from remote, right, you need a password file, as everybody might be knowing. So we need to transfer this password file to that location. So what we will do this initiation. So we will need to transfer the file or a pw prod to the secondary server, and then we will change the name. So what we will do, let's go one step at a time. First of all, to do anything, right, to even set the environment variable and to even let Oracle know what environment has been set up, it needs Aura env Aura sorry, the Aura tab file should have a proper entry for the upcoming database, okay. So let's validate that. Okay, so it has the proper entry, but if you guys do not have this, then better to copy it from here, paste it here, okay, using vi, and change the entry to pat or whatever database you want to keep name as, okay. That part is done. Let's transfer the Aura pw file. So what you need to say is scp Aura pw file to the IP address of the secondary server, that is this, and the DBS location, okay, Oracle base product, because the directory structure is same, right, so it's easy to tab. So it will ask for password. So it's done. Let's validate if it's there, and what we will do, we'll move the file to the correct name. So Aura pw to Aura pw, but this will be pat now, okay. So list it again. So everything is good. Now let's check our steps. Aura tab has been validated for both ends. Let's validate the hosts file. Host file should have entry 100%. This is required for the TNS. Okay, even you are doing anything other than duplicate, right? Any actions you are performing and even installing the database using the Oracle Universal Installer, you need host file entry. Okay, so IP address to the name mapping, it's kind of a local DNS. Okay, so I have entries for both servers. Okay, 168, 155, you can see it. I will validate here as well. It's here as well. So anybody do not know how to change it, then what you need to do is, being a root, you need to be root first and then change it using the VI. Okay, if anybody have confusions, you guys can actually ping me or write a note to the given email address and I will reply to it. Okay, so that part is done. So we have done this for both and we have validated this. Let's validate the DBS location for the secondary server. We actually went to that location, but we did not validate the P file. So what you need to do is list it and VI. I already have these entries. You guys might not have entries, so you guys need to create it. So how do you actually create it is, you need to say, let me first move this file, I don't want to delete it. Okay, dot bkp. So what you need to do, guys need to do is init and whatever database name. Okay, db name dot aura and then put the entries. I'll show you what the entries needed to be put in and give you the justification of why we are doing that. So let me put this back to where it was. Okay, so the most important part of active duplication is the listener and the TNS names file. Because I have already created the entries, what I will do, I will show you the entries and that has to be similar on the secondary server as well. So I will show you the entries for the static listener, the TNS, and what we will do, we will copy those files to the location here, right, in the secondary server. So let me show you that. Let's navigate to the listener location, that is network admin, Oracle home network admin. So cd dot dot, we are in Oracle home, so we need to say cd network admin. Okay, there is a listener file and there is TNS file. Let's get the listener. Okay, what this listener say? Okay, so the listener, right, the name listener with the port 1521 is the dynamic listener. Okay, we didn't need to comment it out. If you guys have that, just comment it out. What you need to do is to prepare, I think I have wrote an incorrect entry here, so what I will need to do is I will edit it. This is actually static listener, static, and that is dynamic. Okay, so what I am saying here is, you need to start with lsnr, that is listener, that has to be same. Okay, underscore prod. So underscore prod is important. The naming convention, you need to actually make sure this is the same thing, and the prod needs to coincide with whatever your database name is. Because mine is broad, so the complete line will say lsnr underscore prod, and then description address will be the host, that is ORCL local admin, and the port is non-default port. Okay, 1522. I am giving the port for this listener, particular listener, as 1522. Okay, that's done. Now we need to give the entry for the Oracle home here, as well as SID name. So there can be multiple SIDs attached to this particular static listener, okay? But because this particular server will have only one listener, that is lsnr underscore prod, so we will say sid list. So naming convention will be same, so sid underscore list underscore and the same name whatever is here, okay? So the name should be same, you cannot put abcd or whatever name you want to. So it will be sid underscore list underscore and the name whatever you provided earlier, and then equals, and put all the details. Global name will be whatever your database global name, mine is prod, okay? Oracle home, make sure to mention this, and sid is prod, okay? Make sure to have a proper alignment of the brackets. So this is done. So what we will do is I will copy this, okay, and I will go back one step back, cd network admin, list it vi listener, because I know there is dynamic listener, so I will comment it out. I'm commenting it out, and then I will paste whatever it had, my what do you call that, the primary server, okay? But the details will be changing here because this particular database will be pat. The server host name is actually auradb, okay? And I will keep the IP address as 1523. You cannot have similar port, right, running. This will be pat. I think you guys might be understanding this, whatever I'm trying to teach. Pat. The Oracle home is same as production. This will be pat as well. So this is perfect. Now let's check. Let's save it and vi tns names.aura file. Now everybody might be knowing about the TNS names, right? So TNS names have the alias. So production, that is production database, okay? This is just to connect, right, from one database to another database, or you can use this TNS entry to connect to your own database using the alias. You can connect to your database using SQL plus /sysdba, but if let's say if you want to use the different user and using this TNS, right? So there are different functionalities you can use this with, okay? And that's the reason their local TNS file is there. Currently we will be using in the RMAN duplication. So make sure this prod, whatever database is named, you can keep any name here, but needs to actually coincide with whatever your database is, so that it makes sense. This particular production database is running on ORCL, okay? It has IP address this and service name production. Pat has whatever details, right, as I have already showed you in the listener file, but this is not listener, okay? So what we will do, we will copy this, copy the details, copy it, and because the file is not there, tns names dot it's names, okay? Paste it. Everything will be same, but this one will be changing. This one will be auradb. So leave it whatever it is, it's not required actually, but we will leave this as it is. That's done. Let's start the listener. So what will you say? Because you need to set the environment variable first, so that to locate the binary, right, as lsnrctl, okay? For that, let's check if the environment variable has been set properly. Yes, prod. Now you will say lsnrctl start lsnr underscore prod, okay? Now this particular listener is handling this production instance, okay, the service prod. Perfect. The alias is listener underscore prod. Everything looks fine. What we will do, we will copy this thing until here, we will paste it here, and this will be pat. So now this is serving pat, okay, this particular listener is serving pat, so everything looks fine. What we will validate now is we will be pinging TNS, so that we validate if both nodes are pingable using the TNS file. So how you will do TNS, because both TNS names.aura file have entry for different databases, right? So particular primary server has entry for itself as well as the secondary server. Same thing is happening with the other one, so that both are communicating, right? So TNS ping, what was that? Pat. Because we are in prod, we will check pat. Yeah, it's communicating. 0 millisecond. Let's check from here, the cross check, right? TNS ping prod. Okay, so everything seems fine. Now one important part, before we start the active duplication, one important part is the parameter file, because what will happen is my secondary server is going to pull the details or the files and going to restore it into the secondary server. I kind of creating the database itself, right, with with our provided names. So if I would like to actually expand this particular meaning, the thing is that if you want to create pat database, right, you need to make sure that when you start active duplication, you will let production or the primary server know that I want to start the active duplication, but I want to store and restore my file to my provided location and with my provided database name. Okay, you don't need to restore the files to the same location and to the same database name. That's what we are not trying to do. We want to actually make sure whatever parameters we want to provide, we would like to restore to that and then recover on that. Okay, so we will need to create pat database and want to store our data files into specific location, that is slash or our data slash pat. That's what we need to achieve. Okay, for that there has to be, so need to understand, there has to be folder already existing. Okay, otherwise when primary will push the data to the secondary server and secondary server will start restoring, it won't be able to restore until there is directory structure already there. Okay, so we need to make sure that the directory structure is whatever is there in the p file, because p file is human readable file and that is a very important file. It has all the information including the audit dump location, the control file location, all those things, right? So those directory structure needed to be there. Okay, so let's validate the p file. So we will need to go to Oracle home/dbs. Okay, ls-al cat init prod, right? So I was talking about these locations. Okay, this has to exist, but you can change the name to pat. Okay, these has to exist, but we will actually explicitly provide that in p file and we will change this to pat. Okay, so that it actually restores into the proper location. This is already there, this is already there, so don't need to worry about it. This has to be there on the p file of secondary server, otherwise it will not be recognizable as multi-tenant and it will throw error while restoring, because the data which is being pushed from the primary server is currently multi-tenant, right? So the secondary server needs to know, right, and needs to enable this parameter to make sure this one is also a multi-tenant environment. So this parameter is very important. Okay, other than that I don't think anything is required. I have already done some primary steps. I will just show you so that you guys can pause and then create the same thing. So we will go to same home slash dbs cat. So I will vi because this is not a good way to look at. So what I'm saying is my db name is pat. Okay, that's the bare minimum db name you say. Okay, control file location, what I am trying to do is I'm going to, when the primary is going to push the data, I'm going to restore into the slash aura data slash pat. Okay, not slash aura data slash prod, right? I want my own directory structure. That is the reason I'm doing that. I'm enabling the pluggable database parameter to true. I'm providing the db recovery file dest. Okay, you guys might be knowing, but this is important parameter. So what this parameter says is, because on the control file header, control file knows that all the files are located under slash aura data slash prod, right? We are not installing the new database using dbca tool do not have any issues creating the data files under wherever you provide the location to, right? But during the duplication or cloning, right, the methodology which we follow is control file needs to know that what is the current location where you want to restore your file to, right? For that we are going to change the location because we don't want to restore to slash aura data slash prod. So what we are saying is, while pushing your data, while restoring it into the secondary server, when you see this particular directory path, change it to the pat, right? Same thing for redo logs. So everything is fine. Let's create this directory where the control file 1 will be located. So I have already typed this. I'll paste it. I'll create this FRA pat location as well. Copy. I hope you guys are understanding what I'm trying to make you guys understand, right? Everything is logical actually in Oracle. If you have enough ample amount of time practicing as well as having experience in this, you will get hold of whatever you are doing, right? It will be like a story. This is done. Now we will start the active duplication. For that, we need to use this p file to no mount the database. Okay, so what we will do is sql plus slash fhdba. Sorry, I don't know what happened. Or inv. Just a second. So there was no such issues. I actually looked into the password file and password file name was incorrect, so I corrected it, and for that reason there was issue, and I don't know, so there was a rogue process running, so I killed that one as well, so everything works fine. So we will use SQL plus slash fhdba. Okay, we will start up no mount. It will use p file to actually no mount the database. We will exit out of this. What we need to do is, this is special condition. So what you need to do is, you will say rman. So there are two pieces to it. Okay, Rman is the tool, but there are two pieces to it. First of all, we will connect to the target database. So you need to understand what is target. Target is where the from where we are pulling the data from. Okay, so that is the primary server. So you need to say target using sys. I will use password at production. Okay, because our TNS entry has prod, right? So it will be able to go to that server and able to connect, right? Because we already pinged both the server from both ends, so this is fine. So what we are saying Rman target, so we are going to connect to the target, and then we are going to connect to auxiliary. As I already told you in the earlier lectures as well, auxiliary means current database using the same credentials. Okay, pat fine, looks fine. So it has connected to production with dbid this, and it has connected to itself, that is pat, which is in no mount state. Now we will be using the run block to actually run the rman duplicate command, because it needs an auxiliary channel as well. So we'll create 3 channels, we'll give 2 auxiliary channels. So I'll show you what I'm trying to say. So this is the command. So in the run block, what you need to say is allocate auxiliary channel c1. So this is kind of, you can say threads. 3 threads will be performing the restore and recovery operation, so the operation will be faster. Okay, 2 channels we are giving, so 2 threads we are providing to the secondary database, and 1 channel we are providing to the first database. Okay, why is that? Because the secondary database is going to mostly perform all the jobs for that reason. And the most important command is duplicate target database to pat. This is important. That is how you are going to restore with this name. So duplicate target database. Target is whatever we connected, that is primary database to pat from active database. Okay, so whatever database is running, so this is the current running database, that is production or primary database, you can call it. Just copy it, paste it here, and wait for it. Let's see, everything goes fine. It will perform everything. It is going to pull the data, no need for backup and then transferring of the files, right? It is going to restore, it is going to recover, and then reset the logs. Everything it's going to perform. Change the name of the folder as well, as per we provided the details from /aura db/prod to /aura db/pat. So it's going to perform everything. I'm not going to pause this video. You guys need to see whatever is happening here. If there will be any issue, we will resolve it. So it's restoring the file to the pat location as we gave the location, right? It's setting the new name, writing the record to the data file header and the control file header, that now this particular database has the data files control file sitting in this specific place. Okay, see, restoring it to the specific location, or a data/pat/prod/db. So pluggable database as well. It has released the channel. It is about to complete all the task. Whatever we did in the manual cloning, it took a lot of time. It is taking burden of everything. So this particular tool, or this particular functionality, active duplication, is what industry use day in day out. So you guys need to mug it up, kind of, put it in your brain, so that anybody asks you about this particular steps, you guys should know about it. So it has done all the parts, right, including the opening the database with reset logs, It has opened all the pluggable database. So we are done, right? We will just validate it. Show PDBs. Awesome. Name from v dollar data file. Good. These are the root files 1, 2, 3 and 4. These are the PDB seed file 1, 2, 3, 4. These are the pluggable database or application database, whatever you call it. Let's check name temporary files from v$temp file. All 3 files are there accordingly, so 3 containers. Let's check the database name. It has even done the NID step. We actually used the NID step to change the database name, right? Everything was tedious before, but now everything is more simpler. Underneath the tool, Oracle is actually following the same steps, but the thing is, because DBAs do not actually have to have an human intervention, everything is faster. You just need to provide the initial part of it. Select. Let's check the log file location. 3 log files. Good. Now check the name of the database and we will be done. Good. Thank you very much for watching this video.